Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Tata Altroz Racer. This guy's priced at rupees 13.09 lakhs on road Mumbai. This is the key of the vehicle, the same key as other Tata cars, and this one is actually the most expensive variant of the Altroz. In fact, the diesel model costs 1000 lesser when compared to this one because it has a lot more features now. But before we start, let me show you this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve One Musk. It's a very nice, musky, manly fragrance. It's just amazing. It's super easy to regulate. You can just regulate it like this. Does not leak at all, and it actually lasts long as well. It is actually my personal favorite. This perfume or fragrance for your car is just mind-blowingly phenomenal. It's awesome. Click somewhere on the top right corner of the screen to get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Straight away to the car. It's available in 3 colors. This is the orange, there's a white, there's a grey as well, sort of nardo grey. And all the cars are actually having a black finish on the hood as well as the roof with these racing stripes as well for that racing appeal. In fact, this adds 1.07 horsepower. Meanwhile, the design of the car looks more or less the same as before. They've added a few things here or there. Meanwhile, it gets a camera here at the front because it gets a 360-degree camera, blackened out grille. Tata logo also has some blackouts. Not really, this is whatever, who cares. Let's open the hood. It's going to be a little hotty, and there it is. Oh my god, it's hot. You can feel the vibrations, you can see the vibrations because obviously this is a 3-cylinder engine. Oh my god, yeah, that shut really fast. 3-cylinder engine, there's insulation there as well. I like the wipers. I like the way the design has been done of the wipers. In fact, there's a peacock here, so a lot of Easter eggs as well. It says Racer right there. What do you think about the color scheme of this car? I think it looks quite nice. The grey one especially looks awesome. This fog lamp now should have been lower down. It's quite high up. It's a projector setup, but these are halogen lights. In fact, the indicator is also halogen. Why are they using bulb in these days? I have no idea. So the top is actually the indicator. The bottom is the parking light. And when you come to the side, you realize that the Altroz is actually a decently big car because it's almost 4 meters in terms of length. The design has nice cuts and creases, which looks fantastic. Tires are very eco-friendly ones, low resistance tires. Makes no sense to have low resistance tires on a sportier model. The tire size 185 60 16. They've, I think, blackened the alloy wheels, but the design is the same as before. Racer there. I don't know what this is. I think that's for the indicator. Oh, they've added a camera on the side as well because obviously it gets a 360-degree parking camera. Do you like this racing strip on the top? Let me know in the comment section below. And obviously this is the Altroz, so doors open 90 degrees, which is amazing. This is actually the Alpha Arc, which is advanced, lightweight, flexible, and to bajja pehle. You know, the thing is, the key is in my pocket now, so it keeps ringing, telling me that the key is not in the car. And the last one was agile. Rear tire size is the same, but it gets drums at the rear, which is quite surprising if you ask me. Says iTurbo Plus right there. You get 2 parking sensors at the rear. In fact, you get a camera here, and Altroz is finished in black. It gets dual exhaust pipes for better sound. And this is a reflector treatment on both the sides. Again, halogen bits in the light, which is a bit disappointing. You get a rear wiper washer. It says vocal for local. You get a rear spoiler as well. Shark fin antenna. Let's open the boot, which is decent size, but the loading lip is a bit high. Tata logo here, Tata logo here. As many Tata logos as possible have been put in this car. Loading lip is a bit high, but boot is decent size. And the spare wheel is not an alloy. In fact, it's smaller size. It's 165 80 14. And you know what? If I kick this now, it falls back in one piece. So there's no 60-40 as such. One piece recline, which is honestly a bit disappointing because 60-40 is obviously more practical. Door handles are hidden like this, which is kind of cool. And the seat belts have been put at the moment because otherwise it keeps ringing the seat belt all the time. Isofix child seat mounts, and that racing strip treatment has been carried forward on the inside as well. Space at the rear is actually good. Under the support is not the best. You get a USB-A charging socket, which is sort of a fast charger. Some storage space here. Rear AC vents. Height adjustable seat belts at the front. 6 airbags are standard on the Racer. Hook, handle, scooped out seat back, magazine holders as well. Space is good, but center passenger does not get a head. There is a center armrest here, no cup holders. Space is actually quite nice here. Door pockets are also big enough, and the doors open super duper wide, which is a nice thing. The dashboard is similar to the regular Altroz. However, bigger screens, newer screens in this car, which is a good thing. Who will complain about that? Let's get out and let me shut the door. I love the way the doors open so wide. No request sensor on the left side. Stop ringing. You can turn off the passenger airbag from here. And let's open the glove box, which is big because there's a shelf on the top and there's a shelf here. There's a light here as well. It has a peacock there, so Easter eggs in a lot of places. In fact, there's a hook right there as well, which is quite nice. Seats are amazing in terms of quality and all this treatment. Says Racer on the headrest as well. So yeah, Tata Motors is doing a good job, and the front doors also open super wide, 90 degrees. That is umbrella holder here, door pockets also big enough. Look at that, isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's quite impressive. It gets a rain sensor. There is the rain sensor. This car will keep ringing all day. It just keeps ringing. Shut up, stop ringing. There's a towing hook here, and yeah, you can see and feel that the horn is not that impressive. Now let's step inside, and I like the orange treatment here, which is quite cool. In fact, illumination only on the driver side, which is not one touch down. No, it is one touch down. Is it one touch up? Yeah, it is one touch up only on the driver side. Power window controls and switches are very similar to before. Engine start button. This is for the front fog light. This is to unlock and lock the car. This is for the 360-degree parking camera. Yes, it's got the 360-degree parking camera. So it has a blind view monitor. When I give an indicator, it will tell me what is in my blind spot, which is amazing. Steering is actually now more appreciated by me because it does not have that touch panel thing like in newer Tata cars. And this thing is also better because it does not have that touch controls. Hopefully Tata Motors does not ruin it, because they've given it the new 10.25 inch screen, which is actually quite nice here. It's big, it's easy to use. Yeah, it is slick enough. It has an air purifier, AQI monitor is also there. So yeah, it has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, both of which actually work wirelessly, Amazon Alexa, and yeah, it's quite easy to use, similar to other Tata cars. Let's get into sound demo and let's listen to some audio. Audio quality is actually very nice. Yeah? It's quite impressive audio quality in this car, which is something with most of the Tata cars. The audio quality is obviously very good. Then you have got voice commands, and you can also get into the surround view to see this beautiful camera, because it has got a 3D view as well, which is quite nice because it's showing black right now. I need to shut the door. Yeah, it's quite a nice camera with good quality. So yeah, resolution is actually again very impressive, and it's showing me a sunroof here. Only thing is the color of the car does not match. Where are the racing stripes which are there on this car? Not there. However, for a car of this price, which has such an amazing camera, an auto dimming inside rear view mirror would be nice. New cluster here. There is a 7-inch screen right there, power and torque meter, and obviously you can browse through a lot of stuff. So yeah, this is also a very loaded menu because I can get into this particular setting and change stuff. So yeah, I press it like this, get into vehicle information, notification, navigation. Yeah, navigation is also shown, but again, the same restriction of showing maps below here with Android Auto. Google Maps with Android Auto and Apple Maps, I think, will come or have come. I don't care. Altroz here. Earlier buttons were here, so they removed the buttons from there and they've shifted them somewhere else. And you've got physical controls for air conditioning. I love this button because this is for express cooling. As soon as I press this, the window goes down. It even tells me express cooling on. Right now I've turned off the voice commands or voice assistance. USB-A, USB-C. Yeah, USB-C, USB-A. 12-volt charging socket, wireless charging pad here. They should have had some silver or chrome marking on the gear to tell you the number. This button has been removed, which was for the sport mode, because the car is by default in sport mode only here. Twin cup holders. There's some storage space here. Magnet now. And the best thing is this actually slides front and back as well. There is a lot of piano black finishing right there. Steering wheel is nice to hold a lot of buttons here. So these buttons are actually for the audio system. This is for the cruise control, and the horn is on the edges. The steering wheel is adjustable only for height. Yeah, that's about it, nothing else. And the cluster actually looks quite nice now. Meanwhile, I'll just do one thing. I'll turn off the car, and when I do it, there it does not show me anything. So I'm going to turn on the car, and there it says Tata Motors. So similar to what we are seeing in other Tata cars, sharing a lot of parts from here and there, which is not a bad thing at all. And this panel seems a bit down. You have lights here. There's nothing here, but there is a light. No, there's just a mirror right there. And this is the sunroof, which is a bit small. So we're just going to open the sunroof, and there it opens. Now everything is black, which is kind of sporty. Yeah, that's about it. It doesn't open any further. I'm saying everything is black in the sense that they have removed the monotony of black by having some orange finishing here and there, which is actually nice. So let's straight away get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. It gets adaptive guidelines as well, and it has also got automatic headlights, and now it also gets ventilated front seats. Yes, that's right, but the button is placed out of sight, and then you really can't see this when the sun is too bright. Height adjustable seats, obviously the seat, rather the driver's seat is height adjustable here, and I've just put this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses right here in the cubby hole, because that's the right spot for it to give me amazing fragrance inside this cabin. Enough of all the features and all. I know it's very loaded a car. It has a sunroof, it has a 360-degree parking camera, it has so much stuff. Very good in terms of equipment, but how is it to drive? Let's start driving right away. Alright, it's time to drive, which means I'm just going to turn on the camera here, which will not stay there for long, and straight away let's get onto the track and time to rev the motor. ESP can be turned off, but it has to be done from inside. Left foot on the brake. No, actually clutch is there now. So here we go. Wheel spin. Oh my goodness. And it says that the rear seat belt is not buckled, but boss, there's absolutely nobody there. So why should I be buckling up that seat? But anyways, the sound of the engine is so much now that you really cannot hear the rear seatbelt reminder. Okay. So tires are screeching like crazy. Let's turn on this now. Track is very winding, but somehow I'm actually very impressed by the handling of this car. It does handle quite well. So mostly we should be driving in third gear because then is when it drives the best. A little bit tap on the brake and tires screeching all the way. So let's quickly get to the engine of this car. Before that, let me get into the history. Tata Motors launched the Altroz I Turbo, which is basically the turbocharged version of the Altroz with a petrol engine. Oh my god, the tires are screeching all the way to glory, and then I'm feeling a little bit of drop in terms of power. So this is the 1.2 liter turbocharged petrol engine, which by the way is having the same engine as the Nexon petrol. That means this is producing around, okay, we've done 130 kilometers per hour. This car is producing 120 horsepower now and 170 newton meters of torque, which means there's an increase in power by 10 horsepower and increase in torque by 30 newton meters compared to the Altroz I Turbo, which had a 5-speed manual gearbox. Actually, this one has a 6-speed manual gearbox. So when they launched the I Turbo, they gave it a lower state of tune because the 6-speed gearbox obviously is slightly bigger, resulting in packaging issues, and that's the reason they decided to actually put the 5-speed gearbox in the I Turbo. And that gearbox is actually restricted in terms of the amount of tires are just screeching in terms of the amount of torque it can take, and that's why they de-restricted it to 110 horsepower and 140 newton meters of torque. The difference here is this car actually, oh my god, is just screeching to glory. So this car is 1.5 seconds faster to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, taking 11.3 seconds. Now the car is decently quick. It feels fast, it feels spritey as well. Low end grunt is good, mid range is okay, not the best, and top end is a bit lacking here, which is a bit of an issue because this car does not like the top end. It doesn't rev that fast, it doesn't rev that high either. So I think revs cap under 6000 RPM. They are not a very high revving motor as such. If I compare it to the i20, well, the i20 N-Line has a better engine, that is the competitor, and even the Maruti Fronx, because both those turbocharged petrol engines are direct injection and this one actually is indirect, so it's a port injection, and that is something which is a bit of a hiccup here, and that's the reason why it doesn't offer you the same level of smoothness throughout the rev range. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem here, but the handling is actually very engaging. They haven't really done much to the suspension. They just tweaked it a bit to handle the extra weight of the 6-speed gearbox, and they've tweaked the steering a bit, but the steering was always very nice, so not much to complain about there. I can drive all day long in third gear itself. So like I was telling you, this car's engine is actually not the smoothest. There's a lot of jerkiness here and there. It doesn't feel extremely smooth as such. So throughout the rev range now, there are some flat spots in this engine. Body roll is actually decently well contained, although they have not worked on the suspension. I have to admit that the suspension is very well tuned, both for handling as well as ride quality, because the ride is very nice in this car. We're going to come to second gear here, and tires are just screeching in glory all throughout. Second gear, it maxes out at 89 kilometers per hour. It does wheel spin. I don't know if ESP can be turned off. I think from inside it can be done probably, and if that is done, then obviously it will wheel spin a lot more. Brakes are strong. Yeah, brakes are actually nice here. We're going to come into second gear. Engine doesn't sound that good, although the exhaust sounds a bit sporty now because it has got change muffler. However, the exhaust is not that loud because first and foremost, it's a 3-cylinder engine. So because this is a 3-cylinder engine, obviously it doesn't sound that good. Yeah, that's a problem with a 3-cylinder engine. It just doesn't sound that good. It has that thrum. It has those vibrations at lower speeds as well. 135 kilometers per hour is what I hit, but this car will actually hit 170 kilometers per hour. Yeah, 170 kilometers per hour. Okay, now I'm in the wrong gear. I'm in third. There, it kind of feels out of breath there. So yeah, this car will do 175 kilometers per hour on the speedometer. Although Tata's like, we have restricted this car to 160 kilometers per hour. Why would they do that? I have absolutely no idea. It's getting quite hot, so I'll just use the wipers right now. I love the balance actually. The tires are crap here. They are very low resistant tires for better efficiency. Yeah, they have used eco-friendly tires on a sporty car. Why? Could have given more power because output is not that great considering it's the same engine without much change in terms of power output. That's something they could have definitely changed here, but unfortunately they have not done it. Compared to the iTurbo, obviously this car feels more powerful. However, compared to the i20 and the Fronx, this is actually slower, because the i20 goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, the N line I'm talking about, with a 1 liter turbo engine. That goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 10 seconds. The Fronx does it around half a second faster. Yeah, so Fronx is actually light, but Fronx is very bouncy. This one feels more composed. Steering is actually quite nice. Yeah, the steering is very impressive here. Somehow Tata does good steering actually. Steering does way up quite well, and all I'm doing is just screeching the tires right, left and center, because when you're on the track now, you're just going bonkers trying to push this car hard around the corners. And yeah, it does respond quite well. So a Tata car which is sporty now, well, that's a new thing. However, they could have made the suspension more stiffer, like the i20 N line, which has a really stiff suspension. This one doesn't have a very stiff suspension, so that's something which you have to look out for. And the gearbox is not the slickest in terms of shift, so you have to shove it a bit here and there at times. I'm going to come to second gear here. Understeer, kicking in abundance. And the clutch, oh my god, the clutch is not that great either, because it's a bit springy and it's not very smooth in operation. It's a hydraulic clutch here. Although I'm impressed by the brakes, I'm impressed by the handling, but tell me, which Tata customer is going to be driving like this? I don't think anyone is. So it makes no sense to actually go for the racer moniker here, and the car is not really racy as such. Balance is good, it drives well, but some people are driving slowly, which means that I will have to cool down a bit, because yeah, we've hit a back marker in our sights. And what better to cool yourself than by pressing this button?
Express cooling is on.
Sometimes she wants to roll down the window, sometimes she doesn't want to roll down the window. I think it all depends on her mood. But anyways, we're just going to turn off the air conditioning.
Express cooling off. Normal cooling mode on.
And we are going to just send it on this kind of road, where you can notice that the ride of this car is actually very impressive. Okay, suspension gets a little noisy, but the car does ride quite well, which is quite nice. And if you want to take a quick U-turn, all I'm going to do is
please release
that is how sporty and fun this car is. So you can just absolutely send it when you want. Yeah, the suspension is actually very good, and they're not stiffened it for a reason, which I will agree with them, because at the end of the day, our roads are pathetic. So ride quality is extremely important. Anyways, I'll just get into this menu right now. Come on. While driving on such a road, it is difficult to press a button because I end up pressing the wrong things. So I'm actually trying to get into the settings, because this guy's actually got ambient lighting. Yeah, they have given it ambient lighting as well. So I get into vehicle, there's ambient lighting. So it's orange colored ambient lighting which comes from below, which is quite cool as well. So drivability is good because it has got good amount of low end punch. So in terms of the turbochargers lag, it's quite less. So turbo lag is very well contained. And as soon as I try to shift into first, I realized that the gearbox is quite notchy. So yeah, that is the slight hiccup while driving this car. And I can't find a setting to turn off ESP, which is another issue. And that's the reason why I'm not able to do crazy wheel spins, because the ESP just keeps kicking in and spoiling the fun completely. Let's use the wipers right away. Wipers are fantastic. I love the quality of the wipers. So much spray there as well, which is making the car quite wet. I don't think that's the right term to use right now. The horn is very meek, not interesting at all. So I don't like the horn, and I like the fact that this car is actually very easy to drive. So suspension is beautifully tuned here, but the engine is actually the problem, because it's not as smooth. There is that 3-cylinder-ness which you can feel, and the competition also offers 3-cylinder engines, but the engine tech is much more advanced right there. In fact, I'm missing the JTPs, because the JTPs felt far superior to this, because obviously it was tuned with a purpose. This car doesn't have the same level of thrill as say the Tiago or the Tigor JTP, and both those cars were absolutely lovely and shouldn't have been discontinued. Tata Motors did a half-hearted attempt there by not really promoting it much, so they didn't market it well, and that's the reason those cars failed. But yeah, they should again go and tie up with the same company, because the JTPs were just amazing and could have created a legacy for Tata Motors, like AMG has done for Mercedes, M has done for BMW, RS has done for Audi, and Volkswagen has GTI, and Skoda also has RS, and there's another Altroz which seems to be the diesel. The diesel Altroz is the best because the diesel is a diesel engine is just fantastic. Great in terms of fuel efficiency as well. This one will obviously drink if you push it hard, so it will return a mileage between 10 to 15 kilometers per liter. Again, entirely depends on your driving style. The more you rev it, the more it's going to unreward you by drinking as much fuel as possible. Here, I'm going to rip apart the engine in second gear. Let's see where it goes. So yeah, it goes slightly more than it's at 6,000 RPM. It doesn't go any further, so that's a bit of a problem. The engine is not that grunty. It has good punch, it's very linear, it doesn't give you the kick in the pants feel. So yeah, decent engine, but you expect more. Now when there's the racer badge, you're like, okay, give me more. And that's where this car kind of fumbles. Yeah, a little bit of wheel spin here and there, so there is no hesitation in giving wheel spins, in spite of the fact that ESP is actually turned off right now. So you're going to come to halt here, hazard lights on. I don't know why this menu has turned on. So she's going to come out of this. You can hear the sound, ting ting ting, it keeps making. All right, into first gear, hazard lights off, revving the motor. Little bit of wheel spin. I turn off the lights, it becomes brighter here, the cluster, the 7-inch cluster, and again little bit of wheel spin when you turn it into second, like shift the gear into second. The problem is now you're not able to launch this car because the clutch is just not having any feel only. It's a very weird clutch. They call it the hydraulic clutch for better feel and feedback, but honestly it just feels extremely weird in the way it operates, and that's a bit of a problem because it is not able to, okay, every time I give an indicator, it turns on the blind spot monitor here, and then it obviously turns off this particular camera, the rear view monitor, driver rear view monitor, which I've turned on. So like I was telling you, the problem which I'm facing with this car is I'm not able to launch it. The clutch is very badly calibrated and the gearbox is not very slick shifting either, which actually brings me to the base engine of this car, which is actually the 1.2 liter engine without a turbocharger. That one produces 86 horsepower and 130 Newton meters of torque. There's absolutely no performance there. Still, they are giving it a dual clutch automatic gearbox, which doesn't feel like a dual clutch, which feels like an automatic. That is actually available with the 5-speed, and I think then we have the diesel as well, which is obviously the engine of choice for me, personally speaking. The diesel engine is fantastic but does not get an automatic, unfortunately, but it's a little bit expensive because the premium for diesels is quite a lot. However, Tata Motors is the only one offering a diesel in a hatchback, which is commendable, and I love Tata Motors for that. Now every time I'm turning on this thing, it makes no sense only because it keeps shutting the camera here. So 7.85 lakhs is the cost of the absolute base variant of this car, going all the way to 13.09 lakhs for this one, the Racer R3. 3 variants, R1, R2, R3. The R1 is actually priced at 11.15 lakhs. All the prices are on Mumbai, of course. I don't understand in which world is an R1 cheaper than an R3, and I definitely feel that they should have an R6 as well. Just kidding, the Yamaha references aside, performance of this car could be a lot better because just 37,000 more will get you the Hyundai i20 N line, which is a better car because of better quality, slightly more features, I think. Yeah, it does have slightly better features because overall fit, finish, quality and all those things are better. Stiffer suspension, better steering wheel, and obviously overall service and reliability and all that is also better. So yeah, Tata Motors should have offered a bit more considering that the competition is tough. 53,000 more will get you the Maruti Suzuki Fronx with a 1 liter booster jet engine. That one has only 100 horsepower. This has 120 horsepower. The i20 N line also has 120 horsepower, 170 Newton meters of torque. Here, the i20 N line has 2 Newton meters of torque more, but the i20 N line and the Fronx both have direct injection engines, which obviously makes a huge difference in the performance of those cars. And this is where Tata Motors is actually lacking. The petrol engines are just not as good as competition. However, that said, the chassis tuning is actually very good. Although they have not tuned much, they didn't need to because the Altroz's overall chassis balance and everything has been fantastic since day one itself. Now, for the first time, I'm going to come into 6th gear. Am I getting into 6th or am I getting into reverse? Yeah, that's a bit of a hiccup. See, it doesn't slot into reverse. So here, into 6th. We are in 5th? No, 6th. Is it in 6th? Yeah, it is in 6th now, finally. So in terms of the gearbox, yeah, it could be a lot better as well. Now, obviously, the Fronx is also faster than this car because the Fronx is a lot lighter as well, and that engine is also very free revving. So sometimes numbers don't really matter as much. What really matters is when is Tata Motors bringing its direct injection petrol engines, because that would make a world of a difference. And trust me on that, when that comes now, then Tata Motors cars would dramatically improve because the engine seems to be the weak link here. It gets the job done, I'm not denying it. It's almost there, but it's still not there because the level of refinement which competition offers and the flat spots in the power delivery are something which bother you when you pay 13 lakhs for a car. And when you're driving at low speeds, you will actually appreciate how good the drivability is. In fact, some electric car I saw, my mood is only spoiled. My day is ruined.
Express cooling is on. Normal cooling mode on.
खुल जा और आगे जाना पड़ेगा खोलने के लिए. So guys, time to launch. Come on. Yeah, it feels like something from the suspension will definitely fall down. So guys, if this is my video of the Tata Altroz Racer, if you like it, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out this awesome car perfume from Involve Your Senses. This is the Involve One Must. It's fantastic. You can get yours with a 10% discount using coupon code FASTBEAM. Click somewhere on the screen right now. Bye-bye.
Express cool.
Chup re, chup.